Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Whenever you are watching this video, I just wanted to do a video on my top 5 reasons to start your shadow work. But before I get into that, do me a favor, make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe. And let's go ahead and get into this. So I just want to give a brief description on what shadow work is. And this description is how I describe it. Other people may have different words. They may take away different words. This is how I see it. Take it or leave it, but I'm going to say it how I want to say it. So, okay. Shadow work is related to self-love, and it gives you the ability to integrate your shadow, which is a special part of the unconscious, within your conscious self. So it's a part of yourself that is tucked away. You don't always show your shadow self. I mean, some people, I just be thinking like, is your shadow self just your regular self? Because you're so like, I can see you're hurt. You're almost bleeding on me. Like, get away from me. Anyways, but at the same time, like, I know that I'm here to raise the vibration of the collective, but I'm not going to force anybody to do anything. I'm not going to insert myself into anything that people don't want me to help with. So anyways, back to shadow work. So basically, I am learning to embrace my shadow self with love. It's not easy, but it's worth it. With this being said, again, I'm giving my top 5 reasons to start shadow work. And if you have any questions about shadow work, you can definitely still do research. I'm always going to recommend doing research. Do your own research, have your own discernment. Don't go by what somebody else says. You have to know you, and you have to trust you. If you don't trust you, you'll fall for anything. Don't be led astray. Do your own thing. Have confidence, have clarity, and don't second guess yourself. A lot of times with things, we try to second guess, we try to reason, we try to rule out, when sometimes the very first thing that pops up in your mind is it. Anyways, I don't want to ramble too much because I could do that all day. But number 1, which is number 1 for me, it becomes your armor. If that doesn't make sense to you, let me explain. So when you start working on your shadow, you find your triggers. When you find your triggers, no one can use them against you, and boom. Enough said, right? It's like a person who is somebody who's an antagonist, and they're always going around bothering people, but some people are just not aware that that's what they do, that person is an antagonist, so they set themselves up every time. When you know that person is who they are, you let them be who they are, and you are who you are. And you're grounded, and you're not worried about what they're doing. And even if they do try it, you have just the right words to say. If it's a boss, if it's a landlord, if it's a friend, a family member, anyone, you will begin to your words just flow effortlessly. And you could curse somebody out without even using a curse word. Let me tell you, I come from a long line of women like that. My great aunties, even my granny, they can curse you out without even cursing. And you feel the most butthurt because you're like, did she just read me for my life? And it ain't nothing that you could do about it, because they didn't get out of character. They didn't do nothing. They didn't even raise their voice. Like, that is the best kind of self-control. All right. So reason number 2, you begin to have more accountability. And when you hold yourself accountable, you will do the same, or you'll expect the same from anyone else who is around you. This leads you to be less likely to settle for things that you don't really want. I can only speak from my experience of being a woman, but it can be easy to be persuaded into doing things or staying in situations, jobs, anything, for the feeling of safety, but really ain't nobody safe. Even whenever you feel like you're safe, you ain't safe. Period. You are, but you aren't. You just have to understand the duality of the way that this matrix works. But what you can do is stay ready so you don't get ready. And how you stay ready is by knowing thyself and doing shadow work. There are many people, or I won't say many, but I have encountered some people who feel as though shadow work is not important and that you're just fine the way that you are. And while I agree with that, but there's always room to improve. And always be aware of somebody who's trying to tell you, like, not to change something that you know deep down that you need to change. Nobody can tell you what you need except for you. This is why, again, it's important for you to know you. If you don't know you, you can't, like, you're stuck. You're stuck. And anybody can tell you anything and you will fall for it every time. So you must know thyself, all right? So that's reason number 2. Reason number 3, you begin to identify blocks, whether it is the way you handle money, relationships, and even health. This should be self-explanatory, but when you remove blocks, your pathways open to the things that you do actually desire. Regarding blocks, I did just record a video, a releasing, like I did a releasing ritual. I couldn't think of the word. So definitely check that out. I'm going to have on the same clothes because I filmed this. I'm filming like 3 videos in one day, so mind your business. But I definitely release those blocks. Whatever it is that you feel like is blocking you, anything, write it down and burn it. Burn it. Burn it, burn it, burn it. Flush it. Whatever. Just release it and get rid of it because you don't need it. I've been trying to light my incense now for the last like couple minutes, and the wind was just like, it was going. And so my incense, I could not light it. All right, so let's get into reason number 4. Reason number 4, self-acceptance. This is in one of the later stages of shadow work, but when you get here, I should say there because I'm still working on self-acceptance. But anyways, at any rate, I have some forms of self-acceptance. I'm still learning, again, to fully accept myself for everything. Everything. Okay. But when you get here, you are learning to fully embrace your shadow self, loving him/her completely without condition. When we love ourselves completely, we're open to receiving the love that we desire. So if you really think about it, the reason why it's so easy for us to stay in toxic situations, not limited to love, finances, just anything, the reason why it's so easy to stay in those situations is the lack of truly knowing yourself and truly accepting yourself for the things that you may not have. I am the biggest advocate on self-love. Like, I don't care if I am shouting it from the mountaintops and 3 people hear me. I don't care. You have to understand how important it is for you to love yourself and to know yourself and to really get to know yourself. And it's scary sometimes because when you're doing the shadow work, man, it's heavy. It's heavy and you feel vulnerable. Look at that bird. Look at that bird. Oh, I can't. It's already landing. Oh my gosh. I don't know what kind of bird it was, but it was big, the wingspan. I've been seeing birds and I mean, duh, everybody sees birds, but I've been noticing them like near me with their wings spread. And immediately when I saw one, the message that popped up to me was just that you're covered, you're protected. And that is, it's always amazing to know that, you know what I mean? We all want to feel safe. We all want to know that we're protected. Anyways, but self-acceptance, number 4. You have to learn to accept yourself. It takes so much practice. It takes patience. It takes a lot. It takes a whole lot, okay? I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it. I'm not going to sit here and try to make it seem like it's easy, because it's not. I've had plenty of times where I'm just like, why did I even start this? Why did I start this? I should have just stayed asleep. I shouldn't have even did it. Because it gets heavy. It gets so heavy. All right. So reason number 5, you build a deeper emotional intelligence for yourself and others, which leads you to not being so critical of yourself and to others. No one likes a judgy Judy. All right. That goes along with self-acceptance. It's just like a bullet under self-acceptance, because when you have a deeper emotional intelligence, you also can understand that what am I trying to say? Let me slow down. Okay. So whenever you have a deeper emotional intelligence, when you're working through your issues, basically it's a reflection, it's a mirror. As within, so without. Okay, let me go back to that page so I can, yeah. As above, so below, as within, so without, as the universe, so the soul. So a lot of times the shadows that are within us, we see reflected to us in our partners, in our children, in our parents, in our, just in relationships. And once you start to realize, like, I'm really in this thing, like, it gets really daunting. And if you're in a relationship and you're doing shadow work, I just advise that you just take your time. And doing your shadow work will really let you know if you're in a karmic relationship or if you're in a harmonious relationship. It will really let you know where your relationship stands. So be prepared for that. Don't be scared. Do it, because you need to. It'll save you time. It'll save your life. It really will. With all of that being said, the journey back to self is a beautiful one, although it can be scared and it can make you feel alone. Know that you are not alone and you are eternally loved and supported on your journey. All right. I also wanted to read this quote that I found. The person who wrote it is unknown. And then I'm going to read from my tarot book. I'll explain a little bit about that after I read this quote. All right. So it says, unless you learn to face your own shadows, you will continue to see them in others, because the world outside of you is only a reflection of the world inside of you. Unknown. That's literally what I just said. Just reiterating that. You have to understand that almost everything that you see is a reflection of you. So if you have the ability to see the beauty in others, that's because that same beauty it's in you. But if you're always quick to point out people's flaws, those same flaws that you're pointing out on those people, you likely have them too. You might not openly show them, but that's that shadow. Also keep in mind too that shadow work also can help you with repressed things. So I was reading something and I had never thought about this, and it makes completely sense. It makes complete sense, not completely, complete sense. There's your dark shadow, which is the things that we try to hide. And then there's your golden shadow, which is the things that we hide that are like talents that we don't want people to know. Don't be afraid to shine your light. And I'm speaking to myself as well. Don't be afraid to shine your light. So what if it's bright? You could put on sunglasses or you could look away. Period. And with that being said, this all comes together. Before I opened up to do this video, I brought my handy dandy guided tarot book. And I feel like it's great because it gives you, everybody has general perspectives of cards, but it's good to have different perspectives of it. But I'm going to read from this. So the sun represents clarity and optimism. All right, and this is the picture. I didn't bring my tarot cards. I started to, but I didn't. I will bring them next time, and I'll do a video here in the park. The sun reveals a clarity that comes only after we have spent time with the darkest parts of ourselves. Does that or does that not resonate with shadow work? It does. When you're going through it, it feels so dark and daunting. And sometimes you don't even have the choice to say that you want to do shadow work. You just sometimes there's a situation that comes up and you're having to be forced to face your shadow. And you're trying to figure out like, yo, what is this? Like, I promise I've said that like so many times. But general reading. Seeing the world through the eyes of a child or connecting to your own inner child, which can be shadow work as well, is a rewarding and productive use of this card's energy. The sun offers clarity in murky situations and brings you the experience of renewed vitality and conscious understanding. Improved health is on the way, as well as a return of enthusiasm for your life. It makes sense because after you do shadow work or you begin to do shadow work, and let me see, what number is that? And the card number is 19. 1 plus 9 is 10. 10 is completion. Shadow work is how you get to how you can get to where you want to get by all of these steps, and then other things all of these reasons are great reasons for you to start your shadow work. I can't tell you what to do. Nobody can tell you what to do. You're you. But if you want to make a difference in your own life and be able to be a vessel for others in whatever way that you choose to give back, you have to work on yourself so that way you can be a light. You can be the sun. The sun illuminates everything. You can see everything. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. But basically, just when you do your shadow work, it can be really heavy. It can be really daunting. Give yourself grace. Be patient. If you have to do shadow work and you take a break, take a break. Don't overdo it. I do have a recommendation for some shadow work recovery oil, I believe. There's a wonderful young lady by the name of Luna Foxlove. Check out her Etsy store. If I think about it, I might post her card if I still have it. I've ordered oils from her and they work. They work great. And I can tell the intent that she puts into it. She's a sweet young lady And like, me and her vibe, like, we just have a, with some people you just kind of vibe, and it's kind of like an unspoken vibe. Like, it's like, I don't know, it's weird, but not weird. Anyways, if I think about it, I will either post her link or a card or something, so that if you do start your shadow work, which I recommend that you do, you have the shadow work recovery oil, and it helps you to just be calm, come into yourself, have that nurturing feminine energy, and to call in on your spirit guides to be there to assist you in your time of need. They're always there. But they're saying just call my name and I'll be there. Michael Jackson. Archangel Michael. Yes. Work with Archangel Michael to get you through these times and this shadow work. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Those were my top 5 reasons why you should do shadow work. If you have any, no. Do me a favor, just make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if this video helped you on making a decision on whether or not you wanted to do shadow work, or had you even heard of shadow work before. Some people have never heard of it. They don't know what it is. Well, I'm here to let you know that you need it. It'll change your life. All right. This is Magical Shantae 888, and I'm out.